and let me know when you guys were able to see.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, now so let us see the one simple program in the servlet. Okay, servlet is a kind of an object which will be get executed in a web container side. Okay, where is the web container will present? It will be present in inside a server. Okay. Let me show
Emily?
you one sim. Yes, Vijay.
Yeah, before going to class, I have a couple of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, Servlet is not sorry. So JDK does not have the Servlet package, right?
Nope.
Servlet API.
Nope. It won't
So
come with
JDK has only
it won't come with the default, and JDK is like most of the things it will support J2SE standard edition packages.
so do we need to buy for Enterprise Edition?
Enterprise edition, yeah, actually Apache is an open server where you can able to download. Okay, and I mean Apache Tomcat I'm saying. Okay, and WebLogic right now some open source have been available and along with some enterprise editions been available. So I sent you, right? That is enough. WebLogic edition.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
and these guys were the responsible to provide the implementation for these servlets. Okay, whether Apache or Tomcat or WebSphere, whoever it is, these guys were responsible for providing the implementation for these servlet classes and interfaces. Okay,
Okay.
and our duty is like, we need to implement the servlet interface either directly or indirectly. Okay, and that particular object, if we give to the web container, then web container can understand, yes, this is a servlet, so I need to consider it as a servlet and I need to process the request.
Okay.
If you give a
Yeah,
normal
my
object, it won't understand.
yeah. I got that, but my concern is like, let's say JDBC, right?
Mhm.
JDBC is also we depend on the third-party vendor like MySQL and
Yes.
Oracle. We depend on the third-party vendor.
Yep.
In the same way, we are depending on third-party vendor for the servers too, like WebLogic and Apache
Yes,
Tomcat, whoever it
absolutely.
is.
Yep.
But for JDBC,
Hmm.
we have a API in JDK.
Okay.
Okay, even though we
In
depend
JDK,
on
we
the,
don't have any API for that. I think so. No. Actually, you're trying to download the
wherever,
OJDBC 14.jar, right? As part of the
but
JDK, it's not a part.
but driver manager.
Yeah, driver man register driver. It's part of OJDBC 14.jar, right?
Oh, that's
Connection
where I
result set,
got
connection
confused.
result set statement, and driver man register driver. All these are part of the OJDBC 14.jar. So that's why only, like, we can able to compile and execute. Otherwise, it may not support, right?
Oh, that's where my I got the confusion. Like they provided like JDBC, but why not? Sorry. Okay, yeah,
No, no.
yeah. Okay. And one more question.
Hmm.
Yeah, I told you right a couple of days back. I'm getting one login exception when I'm trying to log in the Apache server, right?
Yes,
Like
yes.
it is asking for the authentication.
Hmm.
Okay, the main problem is there is already another application that was running on the same
Same
port.
port number, right?
Yeah. So I
Okay,
changed when I changed the 8081, it worked. Okay.
okay, okay.
Okay.
Great.
And my question is like, what is the main role of these port numbers? Does this take the memory allocation like JVM?
No, no, no. It won't take any memory allocation. Port number is actually like, it's not related to Java. Okay, port, it's like, related to the socket kind of a technology. Like, okay, if I transfer some water from one water tanker to your one home, for example, I need to put one pipe, right?
Okay.
So consider that pipe as a port number. I mean, if I want to interact with particular, for example, I'm having one host. Okay, in that host, multiple instances of a code is present. Okay, in that, if I want to interact with only one specific instance, with how can I able to segregate them by using a port number? Okay, in general, to be frank, how they divide is like, TCP protocol, we can use the 80 as a default port number. POP protocol, some 21 is the, like, like for every protocol they given some default port numbers. Okay, and here we are trying to interact with the web server. Okay, so if you want to try to interact with web server, we need the host along with the port number also. Okay,
Okay,
consider
it's
there is a house. Okay, house is having the house number along with the remaining address, street name, and everything, right?
mhm.
So consider the house number as a port number so that I can able to. Okay, I mean, um, I can able to easily understand like where exactly that particular house is present in this area.
Okay. It's something like channel.
Exactly. For example, multiple channels are there within the same server. Okay, some of them are by default already given. Okay, for example, for TCP protocol, by default they given as a 80 port number. Okay, we should not use that. Okay, and some of them are optional. We can use. I mean, we can able to reuse. I mean, we can able to modify that port number also. It's our flexible. For example, here it is the case when I'm trying to interact with the web server. By default, they given as 8080 port number. If you want, you can able to use. If you don't want, you can change it to 881, 8081 like that. And for WebLogic, they were using the port number as 7001. It's there like flexibility of the user. If we want, we can able to use. If you don't want, use the 7009.
Okay. It's something like memory address.
Um, it's not like a kind of a memory address. It's actually whenever you are using the HTTP protocol, it requires the port number 2.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say. They were not using the specific, like they were not like compulsorily you should 8080 like that. They were like trying to say like your wish, whichever you want like that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Got it. Thanks.
Yep. Um. Okay. Consider here. Okay, let me stop the server and start once again. And in this test class, I have prepared some. Okay, this is the project structure, right? Okay, as I'm using the Apache Tomcat. Okay, please come to the Catalina home. Under the Catalina home, there is a web apps folder. Okay, inside the web apps folder only we are going to put all the projects. Okay, now here I have created one simple test project. Okay, project name is called test. Okay, and here the project structure is like whatever the static files are there, JSPs or HTML files or CSS files, JavaScript files, all these things we should put outside the WebINF. Okay, and inside the WebINF, we have to put all our library files, web.xml, and classes files. Okay, what is the need of this one is like web-inf is a kind of a security folder. Okay, and this web container is going to give the protection for this web-inf folder. I mean, whenever you give the this kind of a structure, folder structure, then web container will recognize and it is going to provide more security than outside files. Okay, that's the reason in the inside the web-inf we are going to put all the classes and library files and web.xml file. Okay, let us see one simple servlet. Okay, after that we'll discuss about in detail like why you are using this like that. Okay, I prepared one Java file called first.java. Okay, in normal, if I didn't provide the implementation for this servlet, then it is a normal class file. Okay, normal class file, I mean normal Java object, that's it. There is no specialty of this. And if I want to make this first class as a servlet class, then I need to provide the implementation for the servlet interface. Okay, I need to provide the implementation for the servlet interface. That's what the first step they told us. Okay, if you want to make an object as a servlet object, then you should compulsorily provide the implementation for the servlet interface either directly or indirectly. Indirectly, I will tell you in the next coming classes. Okay, let us see first. So as it is an interface is having some 5 methods. So if you are trying to provide the implementation for an interface, we should compulsorily provide the implementation for all the methods. So that's what here I'm trying to do. Okay, and then here we have init service method, and then destroy method is there. Along with that, get servlet config and get servlet info. Okay, let me try to concentrate on these 3 methods: init, service, and then destroy. Okay, so what is an init method? These 3 methods, init, service, destroy, are called as lifecycle methods. Okay, init. Okay, these three methods, init, service, destroy, is called as the lifecycle methods. So why I'm calling as the lifecycle methods these? Okay, whenever the first request comes for the first time, we are going to execute the init method. Okay, and then we are going to execute the service method. Okay, whenever the first request comes, where the request will come from the browser only. Okay, in the browser you are going to provide one URL and you are going to hit. Okay, whenever you are going to hit one URL, the request will come to the server. Okay, and in the server, consider if this servlet is executed, first servlet is executed, then in the starting phase, what it is going to do, it is going to execute the init method. Okay, and then it is going to execute the service method. Next, we got the second request from the second person. Then this time it will not execute the init method, it will execute only the service method. Okay, and third person came, same, it is going to execute the service method only. Fourth person, 10th person, 20th person, 100th person, whatever, 1 lakh person, so it won't even care, it will execute only the service method. Okay, and destroy method is the one. For example, if you want to remove this particular servlet object from the web container, okay, if I want to remove this object from the web container, then I have to use the destroy method. Okay, if I want to remove this servlet object from the web container, then I have to use the destroy method. Okay, so let us see the practical things and little bit discuss about more about what is the init method and service method. Okay, now
And what is this web container?
yes, exactly, good question. See, web container is a part in a web server. Okay, it is just kind of a module. Okay, it is just kind of a module which supports the servlets and JSPs. JSPs will come next class or next sessions. Okay, servlets and JSPs, and web container is the one whenever any request is coming from the browser, first it will reach out to the Apache HTTPD. Okay, and if this is a kind of a servlet, then it is going to give it to the web container. Okay, this is a kind of a servlet, then it is going to give it to the web container, and then web container is the one which is going to process your request. Means it is the one which is going to create the object for the first servlet, and it is the one which is going to execute the init method, and it is the one which is going to execute the service method. Okay, and if you don't want the servlet to be present in web container, if you call the destroy method, then web container is the one which removes the destroy, which removes the servlet object from the web container. Okay. And destroy method is not recommendable actually to speak. And all these three methods, init, service, and destroy, has to be called by the web container. We should not call manually. That's what the recommendation will says. Okay.
And one question here, in the Apache server we are saying HTTPD. But when we were loading our sample HTML page last time, we're using HTTP
D.
protocol. No, we didn't use the D. We just say HTTP.
No. This is the server name. Okay, HTTPD is the server name. Okay, not a protocol. Okay, first they call it as a HTTPD. D means demon. Okay, and after that, as they renamed it as Apache server. Okay. Better don't go in depth about this. Okay, in the final classes I will explain you what is this HTTPD. It is like inside the server different kinds of modules being present. One is the first one is the Apache server with HTTPD, I mean also called as HTTPD, and after that web container, EJB container, okay, connection pooling, all these different kinds of modules being present directory server. Okay, and HTTPD is the one first point of contact, and this is the one which is going to give the request to the appropriate modules. As this is the servlet, that's the reason it is giving to the web container module. Okay, Apache Tomcat is not a single, server. It's a combination of two, Apache server and Tomcat server. Okay, and Apache server is a web server and Tomcat server is a web server, and the combination else only we're calling it as a Apache Tomcat. Better, I don't want to go depth. Okay, it's like a little bit more confused for this for you guys, so just forget about all this. Okay, just install Tomcat and work right now. In future classes I will tell, because all these things will come only in the real time when you guys were working. Okay, right now for your local
Okay.
configuration, by default they're given everything.
Okay.
Okay, great. So let me try to compile this program. Okay, my aim is like, I want to compile this program which is present in the source folder, and then the class folder has to be placed in the classes directory. Okay, so
Okay.
just for that, as you guys know very well, you guys were able to see.
Yeah.
Yep, great. So I'm using the java c -d is nothing but destination directory where I'm trying to put inside the classes, and next first.java is the one. Place this at here.
We are able to see this clearly.
Okay, great.
It's visible. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, it got compiled and it is placed under the classes directory. Let me go and see. Yes, there is a first.class file. Now next we'll go to the configuration section. Okay, configuration section will be present under the web.xml. Okay, let me try to open the web.xml, and I don't want to put all these nonsense, better just for time being. Okay, now so web.xml, this is also called as a deployment descriptor. Okay, web.xml, this is also called as a deployment descriptor. Okay, okay, when the request comes from the user, okay, first it will reach out to the web server. Okay, inside the web server, we're having one web container. Okay, so the request will come to this web container. Okay, now what this web container will do, this web container is the one which will go and see the project first. Consider our project is a test project. Then in the test project, it will go and look into the web.xml which is present inside the web-inf folder. Okay, and it will try to open sorry,
It's okay.
it will try to go and open web.xml file, and it will try to parse and read it. Okay, and see, this web.xml is having some tags and which is having some information. Let us briefly discuss about this. Okay, web-inf is the root directory, root tag file. Okay, web-inf and then servlet is the,
It's web-app here, not INF.
sorry, web-app, sorry.
Oh,
Web-app
it's
is
right. Yeah, I thought maybe it's spelled wrong. So it should be web app. Okay.
okay, web app is one root directory. Okay, inside of
Okay.
it we're
Okay.
having the two sub elements. Okay, see, let me try to concentrate it here. One is servlet mapping. Okay, here in the servlet mapping, it is having the servlet name and then URL pattern. Okay, and then this servlet name is matching to this servlet name f1, and then this is having the servlet class information. Okay, just try to remember this and we'll try to execute the program and see and come back and see how it got executed. Let me try to start the server. Yep, my server got started now. Let me try to give the URL. Okay, localhost 8081 is the port number and test is the project and first is the one that I have given something. Let us see, we'll discuss more about this. Just I have entered, okay, nothing came, some blank screen. Let me go to the server and try to see how it got executed. Yes, first init method is executed and then service method is executed. Okay, as because I have written sysouts here. Okay, system.out.println inside the init method and then system.out.println inside the service method. So that's the reason these are coming in the server console. Okay, now see, let me try to hit once again and once again. Let me go to the here and see. See, for the first time, init method is the one only executed, and next time, second, third, fourth, every time it is executing only the service method. It is not even looking for the init method. Let me try to take this URL and go to the different browser and try to hit it and come back here. Oh, yeah, again service method. Let me go to the Chrome browser. Again, give me same means so only for the first time it is executing a init method. From second time onwards, it is executing only the service method. So why it is looking like that? So init method is the one it will execute only once. Okay, init method is the one it execute only once. For example, if you want to try to create some objects and make it to be available inside the web container, such kind of an operation we are going to do inside the init method. Okay, this is a kind of a method which executes only once, that too for the first time, and it is the method execute first before the service method. So consider in our project we require some objects to be available in web container before going to the service method. If that is the case, then we are going to create such kind of an objects inside the init method. Okay, so inside the init method those objects make it to be available inside the web container, so that in next time onwards when service method is getting executed, it is just trying to access the existing objects which are present in a web container. Okay, for example, if the project is like getting big, what we are going to do, we are going to you guys get to know about all these, I mean more information about this when you guys were learning in a struts or spring, like there in the init method, we're trying to give one XML file as an input. Okay, and it is going to parse it and it is going to create some module objects inside the web container, so that in the service method it is just trying to access those classes. So just for that purpose, actually to speak, we're using this init method. It means init method is the one execute only once and service method is the one execute multiple times whenever you're trying to hit. Okay, and next destroy is the method one. So what is this destroy method? This destroy method is nothing but, for example, if you want to remove this servlet object from the web container, okay, if you want to remove this servlet object from the web container, then you can call this destroy method. But recommendation is like we should not call the destroy method. Okay, web container should call the destroy method whenever it requires. For example, if it is going like in out of memory, then that time it is going to remove these objects. Or you're trying to undeploy your application, okay, and nothing but you're trying to remove the application from the server, that time web container is the one is going to call the destroy method. It is going to remove the servlet from the web container. Okay, these are the jobs of the web container. All these init, service, destroy, these three methods are the jobs of the web container has to do. We should not do manually. Okay, then let us start from see from the URL now. Okay, come back here. So what exactly been happening here? I'm taking one URL, localhost, common thing, and 8081 port number. This is a common thing. And next, I'm giving one test folder. And yes, this is a common thing. This is a root for the project. And then first, what is this first? Whenever you given the URL as like this and click on enter, first this Tomcat will server will go and search for the test project which is present inside the web apps. So it will go inside the web apps and try to search for the test project. Yes, I'm having the test project. And then next I'm giving first as the URI. Okay, next I'm giving first as a URI. Okay, then what it is going to do first, then it will go to the test project. It will try to look into the web-inf. There it picks up the web.xml and it opens the web.xml and try to search for the URL pattern. Okay, try to search for the URL pattern which is having first like this. Okay, it will try to search for the URL pattern which is having the first slash first, this one. Okay, now it picks up this URL pattern, and based upon this URL pattern it is going to figure out the servlet name. Okay, based upon this URL pattern it is going to figure out the servlet name, and once it got the servlet name it will go inside the servlet tags. Okay, and is trying to search for the servlet name. Do you have any servlet name just like F1? Yes, we're having one. Then it will look for, do you have any servlet class tag? Yes, there is a servlet class tag. Then it will go inside the first class. Okay, then it will start executing. First init method, first time if it is, and next time onwards it is service method only. Okay, got an idea?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any reason that we have like mapping and servlet name? Is it like we can directly
Call the servlet, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Great. Okay, I will show you another example to understand a little bit more. Okay, close this. Okay, I have created another servlet called second. Okay, let me try to compile this. Yes, it got compiled. Let me go and see inside the second class. Yes, there it is. Now I want to execute the second servlet only. I don't want to execute the first servlet. Then how to do? Consider I'm having the multiple servlets. For example, here I'm having the two servlets, first servlet and second servlet. Okay, in this I want to execute only the second servlet. I mean this one. I want to execute this. I don't want to execute the first servlet. Then how to hit that particular servlet?
We can give directly second.
You mean in the URL, like URL give the second?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the second.
It is saying 404 error, means resource not found. I'm unable to see that particular resource, but the resource is available, right? See what happens here is, if you give the second at here, it will go and see the web.xml. Okay, and it will try to search for the URL pattern which is having /second. Do you have any such?
No.
Let us try to do one thing. Just need to give some unique name. That's why I'm giving it like this. Okay. Yeah, I have given. Once you create it as like this, you should compulsorily restart the server. Otherwise, it will not affect. Yes, my server is started now. Now go and give. Yes, it executed. So that's why blank. Second init method, second service method. Okay. Consider I want to execute only the first. Now let me go and see. Init method and service method means these are belongs to the first servlet. Okay. So how these servlets are, it's going to pick up. It is the first or second based
It
upon the
depends upon the
web.xml,
user
right?
acceptance. Yes.
Yes. So web.xml is called as a deployment descriptor. That's the reason. Okay. Whenever you deploy the application, okay, it is going to read the deployment descriptor, nothing but it is going to read the web.xml and it is going to parse it and it is going to keep it ready, everything. Okay. So whenever after the project name, if I got the URL pattern as second, then it says like execute the second servlet. Okay. Whenever if the URL pattern if I got as a first, then execute the first servlet. So if we have a single servlet, it's okay. If we have the multiple servlets, that's a problem. And the second thing is like we can't execute the Java objects directly by using HTTP protocol. Okay, we need some mapping kind of a thing. Okay, so this web container acts as a mapping kind of a job. Okay, if the multiple
Yeah.
servlets are there, it is going to make you understand which servlet you have to hit. Okay, which one you have to hit first and which one you have to hit second.
Or if the order you change it, it doesn't work.
Sorry.
Did you
Okay.
say the order matters here?
Order you're saying.
Like if you put this
Mhm.
2 second in the at the beginning, does it
Order
matter?
doesn't matter at here. It never cares about the order. Okay, you're saying it like this, right?
Yeah.
No, it never cares about the order. Okay, so how it is going to recognize is just like this. For example, if I got as a first as URL pattern, it is going to pick up this. Based upon this, it is going to figure out the servlet name. Okay, and then it will go and see inside the servlet tags. Inside the servlet tags, right now I'm having in two servlets here. Okay, inside the servlet tags, do you have any servlet name just like F1? Here it is matching, right? Now it is going to say yes, go and execute the first servlet. Okay.
Oh, by the way, you had said the init method doesn't get executed again.
Yes.
But in here, did you see it's got executed again?
Yes, you're right. Good point. But thing is like second init method here. These are the four ones, right? Second init
Yeah.
method, second service, init method, and service method. These are the two different servlets, right? I can have multiple servlets in a web container. Okay. Right now I'm having the two servlets. So each servlet is having its own init method and each servlet is having its own service method.
So in what situation then it doesn't? What is the situation where it doesn't get executed again? Because I'm assuming we'll always have more than one servlet.
Okay. See, cases like this. if you're trying to hit any servlet for the first time, it is going to execute the init and service method. Okay, and if you're trying to hit that particular servlet second time, then it is going to execute service method only. Okay, and if it is a different servlet, then for the different servlet is also same case. First it is going to execute the init method and it is going to execute the service method. Okay, simple. I will tell you an example.
Different servlet means?
Different servlet means right now I'm having the two servlets, right? One is the first and another one is second.
Second, okay.
Okay. It considers there are two different servlets right now because I have provided the implementation for the two servlets here, right? First, which implementing the servlet, whenever if I provide the implementation for the servlet, then it will become like a servlet. Okay. And second, here also I'm providing implementation of the servlet interface, so this is also a servlet now. Okay, right now in the web container we're having the two servlets, first and second. Okay, how you are hitting, I mean which servlet that you're trying to execute depends upon the URL how you are giving. Okay, if I give as a first, then it is going to hit the first servlet. Okay, if I give the slash second as a URL, then it is going to hit the second servlet.
Amani?
Yes, Vijay.
Yeah. Is there any reason like they specifically they need like mapping, URL mapping? Let's say I don't have a mapping kind of configuration. I have only servlet tag. Okay.
Okay.
In the servlet tag, I give the name and I give the servlet name. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say my URL is based on the servlet, which is the servlet tag. I can directly give the servlet name in the URL. Let's say I have two tags, servlet 1 tag, servlet 2 tag.
Okay.
Okay, in the URL I put like port number slash servlet 1. So it takes the servlet 1 tag and it executes the respective servlet. You got what I'm trying to say?
You want to say like you did the configuration web.xml with two tags or separately only?
I don't let's say I don't need any URL mapping. I can directly access by using the name.
Okay.
Servlet name.
Okay.
Okay, in that case, since I have two servlets, I can use two servlet names.
Okay. How the web container has to recognize your URL? It needs some mechanism to convert your URL to a server object, right? No. What I'm trying to say here is like, okay, Java is an object-oriented programming, and you are using something called as a protocol kind of a thing. Like you're trying to hit some URL. Okay.
Okay.
If you give that particular URL, how the Java has to understand? I mean, yes, they can able to abstract everything and give it to you, but this is not kind of a recommendable thing. Okay, what they were trying to show you is like everything should be appearing to you. You can able to configure which servlet that you're trying to hit or which one you don't want to hit. Okay, consider what happens if I don't have the web.xml. Okay, I have given slash first as the URL. Then how it has to recognize the first servlet?
Let's say we don't have that URL mapping kind of configuration.
Okay. Okay.
And I have only servlet name.
Okay.
So based on the servlet name, it can recognize, right?
Based upon the servlet, it is going to recognize, you're saying?
Yeah.
It will recognize, yes, it is present in the web container, so that it is recognized.
Oh yeah, that's what my question. Is there any specific reason that we are mapping through the URL mapping and then finding the servlet name?
Okay, this
you
is
got
not
it,
like,
right?
yes, yeah, this is not like a console kind of a programming, right? This console programming, it starts from the main method, and so that from main method we are going to start navigating the different Java objects. But here everything is coming from the URL only. Okay, you need to convert the URL to a URL kind of an information to a whatever your task that you are looking for. They need to convert. They need one mechanism to make it to understand.
Okay.
Okay. For that, so that's the reason they see this is called like kind of a recommendation that they have given. Okay, we prepared one web container. Okay, if you want to hit the particular servlet in the real time, because the request views are coming from the browsers, and these servlets will get executed in the web container. In order to be get executed, which servlet has to get executed? First, what I'm going to do, I will go and look inside the web.xml configuration. Based upon that only, I'm going to execute the servlets. That's what the recommendation that they said. Okay. Do you get my point? Or
Yeah, I got it. Like they don't want to reveal the they don't want to reveal the servlet names.
exactly, it's kind of an abstraction.
Yeah,
Okay,
because they want to hit it the servlet based on the URLs.
for
Like we have
example,
IP address, right? IP address and a DNS server,
hmm,
something like that.
in same way. See, URL name will be different, and this
Servlet will.
servlet name is will be different. So it will be
Yeah,
kind of an
yeah,
abstraction where the user cannot able
that
to
makes
recognize.
sense. Yeah, yeah, that's clear. Got it, Mani.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. And I will try to add one more tag at here. Okay, now consider as a case we're having the two servlets at here. One is a web.x in the one is the first servlet and the second is second servlet. Okay, how the init method will executed is whenever a first user, okay, my project is deployed into a web server. Okay, think as like this, my project is deployed into a web server. Okay, now my project is just available. Okay, and then these servlet, sorry, first and second servlets are not even available in a web container. Okay, in web container these are not even available right now. Okay, when these are available, when the first request comes, okay, when the first request from the URL, okay, as a user, but he's going to take one URL. When he tried to hit the first time, what happens? Then it will come to the web.xml. There it is going to execute the particular servlet, and it is going to create the object for that particular servlet, and then it is going to place it inside the web container. Okay, inside the web container, we are going to execute the init method and then service method. Okay, so how the init method and service method first time executing? When a first user hits, okay, a first person who hits the URL, because of that one only this servlet is getting executed, and we are creating the objects inside the web container. Okay, consider as a case in the init method where consider I have deployed one application. Inside the init method I have written some logic to load some objects. Okay, inside the init method I have written some logic to load some objects into a web container. Okay, and it is like, little bit heavy. Consider it little bit heavy means it's taking more time to load all the objects. Consider some 50,000 objects are there. I made it as like that. Okay, I'm trying to load some 50,000 objects in a web container. Okay, when executing init method as a user, first user, I'll come here and I will try to hit enter. Okay, when I try to hit the enter, what happens? Okay, stop the server, don't forget about it. Okay, when I try to hit the URL here, it is going to execute the init method. Consider executing the init method may take more than 10 minutes. Is it good for the first user or application? No, it is not at all been good. I mean, it's not kind of a good service. Okay, your application is trying to take some 10 minutes to load the objects is up to you. But why user has to spend 10 minutes for at your application? Okay, so in order to avoid this, they introduced a load on startup tag. Okay, load on startup tag. Okay, how it works, let us see. So inside the servlet tag, I'm trying to put some load on startups. So let us see what is this. What is the use of putting all this? Okay, I have stopped the server, and let me try to start it once again. Yes, my server is started now. Okay, now Go to the URL, try to give the first. Yes, I got some. If you observe here, what is executing?
Service method.
Service method. But where is the init method? As I'm first time hitting, right? I'm first time hitting this URL, right? So
Yeah.
if I'm first time user, then it has to execute the both init as well as service methods. But here it
Yeah.
is trying to hit only the service method. Where is the init method then?
Maybe it thought it already hit.
Exactly. See, as because we kept the load on startups, so when the server is getting started, okay, when the server is getting started, that time itself it is going to load these two servlets. Loading means it is going to create the object and place it in a web container, okay, and make it to execute the init method. That is called loading. Okay, see
Yeah, they
here,
are over here.
if you observe here, init method first one, this is belongs to a first servlet, second init method it belongs to a second servlet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how it is executing, how the first init method is executing first and how the second init method is executing second? How it is
Order.
executing? Exactly, not on order. Load on startup tag here. See, for the
Okay.
first servlet, which number I have given? 1.
Yeah, first.
And the second servlet I have given 2. Okay, so load on startup, by default load on startup means at the time of starting the server itself create the, I mean load these two servlets into a web container and execute the init methods. That's what the load and startup mean. Okay, and in which order I want to execute means based upon the numbers. So which one is the lowest number will be executed first, and which one will be next highest number which will be executed next. Okay, that's the
So order can number can be anything, right?
yes. For example, if I put 100 here, okay, if I put the 101, yes, this is also been applicable. So lowest
Okay.
number will be get executed first, and then next highest number. Okay,
Okay.
consider if I didn't give this one, then what happens? It will be never get executed at the time of starting the server. It will be executed only when you hit the URL. Okay, when you first time you're going to hit the URL, that time only this servlet object will be get executed and it is going to execute the init method. Okay, but if you give the load and startup at the time of starting server itself, init method will be get executed, so that we'll get a time save. Means for the first user, he don't need to wait for 10 minutes. For example, if your init method is heavy. Okay, in general, to be frank, nowadays projects are like having some 10 lakh lines of code or like 20 lakh lines of code. So and they're having some 50,000 objects or many 1 lakh objects will be available. They want to load all the objects to be available. Okay, I mean for that what they're going to write, they're going to write the coding in a init method only. I mean in the init method they were trying to write some coding to pick up all those objects. Okay, so generally what happens is like, okay, you have restarted your server and you deployed your latest application. For the first user, what happens is like, in order to execute the init method, it is going to take minimum 10 minutes to execute. So it is going to kind of a frustration for the first user. Okay, second user onwards it's okay, no problems. But in order to avoid that particular 10 minutes also, then people are going to use the load and startup. Means at the time of starting server itself, load this init method, so that we can able to save that particular 10 minutes time.
So in real time, they don't stop the server once they started. They don't stop it.
Yes, they will stop the server. Depends upon, for example, every 3 months or like you're going to have one release. Okay, at the time of release, you need to stop the server. They are going to have shutdown time, like some 8 hours, 9 hours, like that. They're going to maintain some shutdown time. Okay, in that time, they're going to stop the servers. Okay, and then I mean, first they're going to deploy the latest application. I mean, deploy means nothing but they're going to place the latest code changes inside the web apps. Okay, and then they're going to start the server.
Okay. So that in that time it will pick up all the objects and everything.
Exactly. In that time, it is going to pick up all the servlets which are been available inside the web.xml. If we provide the load and startup for that particular servlet. If we didn't provide, then it will be get executed for the first hit. Okay. Now, what is the use of the order here? I'm using 100, I'm using 101 here, right? So what is the main use of the order? Consider an example, second servlet is depending upon the first servlet, then that time this will be helpful for us.
Mhm.
Okay, consider second servlet is actually been like, looking for the objects which are been like, or some processing has to be done before it. So if that is the consider, if the second servlet is relying on the first servlet, then at that time order is like, which plays a vital role.
Let's say I use like load and startup tags for
Mm-hmm.
two servlets.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't give anything.
Okay.
I didn't give empty tags.
Okay.
So in that case, order will be the it pick based on order.
No. Yes, I mean, for example, okay, it will not follow that. Consider an example. Unknowingly, you hit the second servlet. Okay.
Okay.
Unknowingly, you hit the second servlet, but it requires first
Mhm.
servlet has to be executed before itself, but it wasn't getting
Okay.
executed. So what happens? Some problems will occur, right?
Yeah, correct.
So in order to avoid that, we are going to maintain like this. We use the load on startup.
Yeah, correct.
Yep. Any more doubts?
No, clear.
Yeah, I will great. In the next class, what we're going to do, I will try to print something back to the UI. Right now, till today, I have shown something in the here itself in the server console itself. Instead, in the next class, I will show you something. For example, if you try to hit some URL, yes, hello world, hey hi, how are you? Like that, we will try to display some matter here. Okay, we'll try to code like that in the next class. Okay.
Okay.
And please try to execute this program, come up with questions as usual.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and I will send
Okay.
the videos today. uh,
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
yep.
Hey,
um,
Mani.
yeah, Vijay.
Yeah, I really like the way of you teaching. Yeah, it's like more clear. Like, yeah, I really like.
Actually, I'm struggling to because I will be happy when you guys were understanding. If you didn't understand, it's like a waste for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's more like for me. Like I feel very good.
Okay, and I'm also a human being. Okay, sometimes I used to do mistakes. Please accept those, just like typo
Yeah.
mistakes.
No, it's okay.
Okay, then. Thank you, guys. Bye bye. We'll meet you again
Thank you.
Monday.
Bye.